Minecraft illagers, which are pillagers, vindicators, evokers, and ravagers, are the strangest mobs in the entire game. Their skin is completely gray, and they live in giant mansions with little to no furniture inside them. They purposely live in the biome that is right next to the new Pale Garden, a dangerous biome home to the Creaking, and they intentionally live there. But why is this? This is actually because of a feature hidden in Minecraft's most recent snapshots relating to the Pale Garden and the Creaking. You see, the Pale Garden is completely desaturated. The leaves are gray, the grass is gray, even the sky is gray. Even the new mob, called the Creaking, is almost completely gray, just like the entire rest of the biome. But the Creaking has one feature on it that isn't gray at all. It's bright orange eyes. Minecraft illagers share these features with the Creaking. They're completely gray except for their eyes, and every single illager's eyes are colored, whether it be green, blue, or if you count wishes as illagers, purple. Now, all of these colors can be related to different things in the game. Green because villagers' eyes are green, blue because of lapis, which is what Matt had explained, and purple because that's the color of the enchantment glint that you can see on tools, weapons, and armor when enchanted. But how does this relate to why illager's skin is gray? Well, isn't it weird that the only non-grayscale feature that illagers have is their eyes? And I'm not counting clothes because, I mean, come on. The Creaking is entirely grayscale, except for their eyes, which is shared with the illagers. This means that they have to be connected somehow, right? Well, if I stopped here, that would only be connecting a few pieces of evidence to make a large conclusion. That's called a conspiracy theory, but this next thing actually makes sense. Don't you think it's also kind of weird that Creakings live in Pale Gardens and that the illagers live in Dark Oak Forests? And Pale Gardens are confirmed to be a biome variation of Dark Oak Forests. Oh, and also, Pale Gardens can only generate right next to a Dark Oak Forest, and the Dark Oak Forest is the only biome where woodland mansions can spawn, and woodland mansions are home to the illagers. Also found in mansions are rooms that look to be experimenting with things like plants, and real-life gardens are made out of plants, and the biome that generates right next to the Dark Forest is called a garden. See, now we're starting to see how the Creaking relates to the illager, and how the Pale Garden relates to the woodland mansion, and I think I just might have a story that connects us all together in a satisfying way. Listen to this. A group of villagers from Villager News were kicked out of their home village for witchcraft, which makes sense because Minecraft is set in the medieval era. The only things they brought were axes, crossbows, and some knew how to harness the power of magic. The villagers didn't want to be bothered from now on, so they went to a place that didn't seem appealing to other villagers, the Dark Oak Forest. There, they worked together to build a mansion made of materials they found in that forest. They built things like statues in that mansion and performed a lot of experiments in it. They experimented on everything. End portals, beds, maps, and most notably, plants. They found out that if they let a dark oak sapling sit in the mansion with no light or really anything to interact with it for a long time, it would turn pale because of the lack of sunlight. They planted a pale oak sapling and it sprouted into a pale oak tree, having pale roots hanging from it, and even growing pale moss around it. The villager who found this out, named Evoker, was used to making magic. But this was a new kind of magic, man. Evoker also liked making things look good. He was a builder, so he told his villager friends, Vindicator and Pillager, to help build a garden with him. So, in that same dark oak forest, they cut down dark oak trees and planted pale oak trees in their place. They did this so much and so fast that the sky started to turn pale, and they were spending so much time in their new pale garden that they themselves started to turn pale. They no longer had brown skin, because being exposed to pale wood in the pale sky this long led them to become pale themselves. The transformation from villager to illager was so slow that they didn't even notice it, and began experimenting with a new block they found, the Creaking Heart. They found it by looking in trees in the pale garden. At night. These things would spawn the Creaking, a walking tree with 3 orange eyes that only attacked when you aren't looking. The illagers were terrified of the Creaking and commented on how it was still alive despite being made of pale wood. The Vindicator told the rest of the group that they started noticing Evoker and Pillager becoming gray, and then they looked at their hands and realized that they had actually become part of the Pale Garden. So they ran out of that Pale Garden, leaving the Creaking and everything with it behind, forgetting to destroy any of the Creaking hearts they found. In fact, they were so afraid of the Creaking that even modern day, when any type of villager is near Creaking, they run away immediately. They ran back to the woodland mansion, and Pillager said that he was leaving because knowing that all his friends made him experience something as horrifying as this, he didn't want to be in that group anymore. So he went back to the village, but got kicked out because his skin was gray. So he built an outpost close to the village, and one day he was planning to raid the village. So that was the story of the Pale Garden, the Creaking, and why illager skin is gray. If you want, I'll make more scary videos for the spooky season focusing on Minecraft lore! And if you have something to add to this, join my Discord server and talk about it. Link in the description. Anyway, thanks for watching this UIT Minecraft video, and until next time, undefeatable army.